no place for Gill right now.
Yeah, I think the only concern about Virat, though he's a proven matchman and everything, is that.
But one thing with Rishabh Pant is that he takes some time to settle down.
Yeah, stocks are looking a little bare when it comes to someone to partner Bumrah.
One, he's a game changer. He's a mercurial player. Yes, he needs to be. And I mean, you can't drop him. He has to be there in your squad. And because as a bowler, he is a much more canny bowler.
But I think the team management has great faith in him. The selectors have great faith in him, and
another Tina factor.
Another Tina factor. Hi, welcome to TOI. I'm Vikas Singh, Executive Editor News, and with me, Partha Bhaduri, Cricket Editor TOI, and also the man who helped pick the ICC team of the tournament in 2022 after the T20 World Cup. So a couple of weeks ago, Partha and I had done a preliminary World Cup squad for India based on the form of the players at the IPL. And we promised them that we'd come back in a couple of weeks, since a lot would have changed, and see how our team would also have changed. And in case you want to see what we discussed then and who were the players we picked then, we're putting a link below. Please go ahead and click on that. But coming back now, Partha, I would say there are at least 5 or 6 names that are virtually certain, right?
Yeah, so when it comes to the actual selection, we are not expecting too many surprises. Because it's a big tournament, selectors usually punt on the experienced players. But we are not going to second guess just the selectors. We are going to pick our own team with a couple of surprises. So just hang on till the end and wait for some surprising choices. And but look, we'll begin from the beginning. We'll begin from the captain and the opener, Rohit Sharma.
Okay.
Because you're okay with the choice of Rohit as...
Yeah, in fact, I wanted to talk about that. Would Rohit have been in your first 11 if he was not the captain?
I think so. Yes. Yeah? I think so, because given the alternatives we have, like Hardik, Pandya, he doesn't seem to be in a very proper frame of mind right now. And he's already going through a lot with his IPL transition, franchise transition in the IPL. And Rishabh Pant, I think we'll just all be happy if he's picked and stays fit throughout the World Cup, rather than give him the burden of captaincy right now.
Yeah. So,
and with Virat refusing to captain and having already stepped down, you do have Jasprit Bumrah, but you have Rohit Sharma who can accelerate, who can bat in the 140-150 range if need be, and he can guide the youngsters. And we've just seen a couple of months back how he led in another World Cup, although it was a different format. And he has said that he wants to have another go at a World Cup trophy. So I'm okay with the choice.
So Rohit is a given, and Yashasvi, I guess, is also a given. I mean, it was looking a little shaky a couple of weeks ago, but then he's got that century, so now he seems to be back on track.
He seems to be back on track. Also, the top order and a couple of names in our 15 are basically the since we're in the middle of an election, the Tina factor. There is no alternative. So. So, like for example, Virat Kohli. Now, this is a debate which excites the entire country. People say Kohli isn't up to scratch in T20s. He bats through, which is not needed anymore. But if you look at the way he's batted in the IPL, if you look at his strike rate against spin, is more or less, he has not always been batting the way, somebody like a Klaasen would. Or even a Pandya would at times. But I think you need that sort of presence in the middle order to...
Yeah, I think the only concern about Virat, though he's a proven matchman and everything, is that we are talking about his IPL form, but he's been opening also the IPL.
Yeah.
And he'll be, coming out to bat at number 3 in the World Cup after the power play, and he does tend to noticeably slow down post power play, especially when the spinners come on.
Especially when the spinners come on. But in this IPL, he has improved that too a bit. He has improved that a bit. And I mean, you can't drop him. He has to be there in your squad, and then you can take the courageous decision of benching him if need be.
I don't think anyone's going to be that courageous.
Yeah. Also the pitches in the West Indies will be low and slow. You won't always be able to hit through the line.
Right.
So you need this kind of canny players to work the ball around, take the singles, because you won't see such high-scoring games there.
Right.
So
Surya is also a given, I think. So that's 1 to 4 slotted. Now, I think we come to the first of our debates. In fact, I think there are 2 pretty intense debates coming up. So the first one is who's going to be our all-rounder. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we'd picked Hardik Pandya, but a lot of water has flown down the Ganga since then. So is Hardik still your first choice, or would you rather have someone like Shivam Dube, who will not give you the same quality of bowling as Hardik, but arguably is in much better form in terms of batting right?
I would keep both in the 15, but in terms of the 11, I think I'd prefer Hardik Pandya.
Okay.
Because one, he's a game changer. He's a mercurial player. Yes, he needs to be handled a bit differently. He can be temperamental at times. He can be very emotional, but he can win you games from out of nowhere, especially with the bat. And he also gives you that added pace option, because as a bowler, he is a much more canny bowler and he's a better bowler than bowling option than Shivam Dube.
Yeah, I think Shivam and even to some extent Yashasvi Jaiswal have really suffered from the impact player rule.
Impact player rule.
Because Shivam is not a bad bowler. Like, you may not count on him for 4 overs, but he can give you 1 or 2. But in this IPL, he's not bowled a single over. But I just believe he's working hard in the net. So I hope.
Same with Dube. Dube bowled well in the Ranji Trophy, but he's not getting to bowl. Also, what the impact player rule has done is, in the absence of Mohammad Shami, we suddenly find ourselves in a situation where we don't have enough pace bowling resources. But we'll come to that later. Just hang on. And
so for now we've got Hardik in the 11 and Shivam hopefully in the 15.
Yeah.
Now we have one wicketkeeper slot, and there again I think there's a lively debate, because the emotional favourite of course will be Rishabh Pant, but then you also have a Sanju Samson who's really done nothing wrong. You have Jitesh Sharma, who could still be in the fray. You have Dinesh Karthik, who's enjoying a late career revival again, and coming in at that finisher role, which is very, very difficult and not too many people do well.
And you have the favourite of the selectors, KL Rahul.
KL Rahul.
Yes.
And as Rohit jokingly pointed out, it's too bad you can't persuade MSD to come out of retirement.
Yeah. In fact, if you look at the numbers in the IPL per se, then MSD is the best choice. Yeah, given that he's doing what he's doing. But on a more, I think, serious note, I think Rishabh Pant should be our #1 candidate, because he's shown he's fit. He's shown he still has the range of strokes. He hasn't struggled for timing. The only thing with Rishabh Pant is he's also a very canny wicketkeeper. He's very smart with his tips to the bowlers. But one thing with Rishabh Pant is that he takes some time to settle down.
Yeah.
So you have to give him some balls. So I don't think he is exactly a designated finisher in that sense.
Yeah, so if Rishabh is playing, then Rishabh will play the lowest he'll bat is at 5. Which means that Hardik then has to be your all-rounder, because Dube can't bat at 6 either. I mean, well, he could, but he does most of his good work for CSK at 4 or 5. So, expect him to suddenly become a finisher overnight is not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
So, okay, so we have Rishabh penciled in at 5 and Hardik at 6.
Hardik at 6, and then I'm tempted to pack the team with all-rounders.
Okay, fair enough. Given that, now thanks to the impact player, you have batters who now are used to the comfort of a long lineup. And also that the Indian tail, which we were very apprehensive about all through the ODI World Cup, that the batting essentially finishes at 7. And it clicked beautifully till the final. But then when it didn't, on the big day it didn't. So
I think it's important, like you said, to shore up the tail a bit, put some batting might into the tail as well, because it becomes more important in T20s, where you need those sort of players who can come in and score 35 of the last 2 overs and win you a game. And since you're picking only 15, you're not picking the Tevatiyas and you're not picking the people who usually do this job in the IPL. So you need some of the bowlers to, deliver.
Right.
And okay, so we have our top 6 penciled in, and would you be tempted to go with Ravindra Jadeja after that, or?
Yeah, I think he's one of the guys who's going to walk in regardless. He's
another Tina factor.
Yeah. And
but he hasn't been in the best of form in the IPL.
Yeah, but I think the team management has great faith in him. The selectors have great faith in him, and every once in a while he does come through. He does again tend to struggle against spin, but if he's batting at 7, he probably will not be coming up against a lot of spin. And okay, so you were saying you want to pack your team with all-rounders. Who's going to be your next all-rounder?
Can I play Ravindra Jadeja again? Let's call him Akshar Patel.
Okay. Right, because they're essentially the same player.
Yeah.
Though
Times two.
Akshar has been having a good run, and as he showed, he batted number 3 in the match.
In fact, in one of our previous discussions, you had said that Akshar should bat higher than Jadeja.
I think so. Yeah.
So that is also a possibility.
Certainly in T20, as a batter, he excites a little more confidence. Okay, so you have Akshar and Jadeja.
Yeah.
And that leaves you room for one more spinner, which I think right now has to be Kuldeep.
It has to be Kuldeep. Has Kuldeep has reinvented himself as a bowler in all formats. and he's your number one choice.
Fair enough. Bumrah, of course, is the classic Tina.
Yeah.
The worry now is that
Bumrah can clobber the ball as well.
He's improved a lot. He hits the long ball.
Yeah.
The worry now is that suddenly stocks are looking a little bare when it comes to someone to partner Bumrah. We were very excited about Mayank Yadav last time, but unfortunately, the concern about him was fitness, and that has sort of worked out. Or rather, it's proved that he may struggle to get through a World Cup at this stage. So I don't think young Mayank is going. His time will come, hopefully.
Which makes one wonder why didn't India do more with Umran Malik? Why didn't they develop him more as a pace bowler, especially on the slow pitches of the Caribbean? He could have been really handy.
Yeah, where you could do with some pace.
And I believe somewhere down the line, they haven't worked on him as hard as they could have. And also, maybe they did not anticipate injuries to Shami and maybe a few others. And so also, this lack of pace bowling resources, which we are not exactly used to over the past few years, because we've had one good pacer after another coming through the ranks.
Yeah.
But I think this, since we are keeping the IPL in context, and I think we are into the third season of the 10-team league. So you had this pool of around, say, 50, 60 odd players who were distributed among the 8 teams, and now you have 80 domestic players.
Right.
So and the rest of the players, you don't have quality pace options as such. So that's a bit of a worry. And but if you want a left-handed option, we can go with the safest choice, who's Arshdeep.
Arshdeep, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. His form seems to be improving of late. He tends to have his dips, his ups and downs, but he seems to be picking up. I think the only other a couple of other left-handed options that come to mind. One is Khalil, who's done reasonably well for Delhi, and then there is T. Natarajan, who had a good start for India, then suffered an injury, fell away, and now is back doing a good job for Hyderabad. But I think having invested so much in Arshdeep, I think he's the guy.
I think even Ashish Nehra can still come in and bowl if we are considering him. And
so finally our two pacers and Hardik to chip in.
Hardik to chip in. We have 3 spinners.
Fair enough. Okay. So now our 11 is sort of sorted, which means that we can now pick former players. Of course, you can also pick the travelling reserves, but those are the guys who will only come into the 15 if one of these players is injured and is unable to play. So
and this is where our choice comes in, because the selectors are likely to go with Mohammad Siraj as a backup or as to partner Bumrah up front. But Siraj hasn't really done much in the IPL. He's looked a bit jaded.
Yeah, I think his sort of natural length, which is so effective in tests and to some extent ODIs, tends to leak a lot of runs in
T20s. And also I think he's fatigued, because he's been playing continuously. Right. And that's why they've decided to rest him from a few games, maybe keeping the World Cup in mind. But what do you think about Sandeep Sharma?
I like Sandeep Sharma. I think he's a left field choice. He will not be in too many lists, but I think he brings a lot to the table. He's very good at the power play. If you look at his track record, not just this season but across several seasons of the IPL, he's one of those power play champions. He can bowl in the middle, and of late he's become a very good
death bowler as well.
So yeah, in fact I think he'd be a better option than Siraj. I just hope Ajit Agarkar sees it that way too. Okay, so we have a fast bowling.
So can we pencil in Sandeep as one of the 4?
Yeah, absolutely. Shivam, we'd already said, would be in the 15, though not in the 11. And if Hardik is unavailable, then Shivam sort of comes into the 11, if for whatever reason.
But are we doing justice to Rinku Singh?
Yeah, but I don't think it's possible to have both Shivam and Rinku.
And you have to pick one among the 2.
Yeah. And right now, going by form and the fact that Shivam can give you a little bowling as well, I think Rinku, in fact, has really not done anything very wrong. It's just been his bad luck to some extent that his team has done very well in the IPL, and he's really not been needed to do too much.
And that team is packed with big hitters.
Packed with big hitters, yeah. So, okay, bad luck Rinku, but maybe in the travelling reserve.
Okay, so we have Sandeep, we have Rinku, we can pick 2 more. Would you like to pick a reserve keeper for such a short tournament, or would you like to?
I think because it's Rishabh as your first choice, you will need to have a reserve keeper. If it had not been Rishabh, then you could have risked. I mean, India would often go, to World Cups with only Dhoni. But given that Rishabh is coming off that injury, and though he seems to be in good shape, you never can tell. So I think, yeah, you do need a reserve keeper. And there, it's a really crowded field right now between KL, Sanju Samson, and Karthik.
The emotional choice is Dinesh Karthik.
Yeah.
Because he always comes all guns blazing in the IPL, and then he shows us what he can really do.
Yes.
But he was a disappointment in the last World Cup.
And that was 2 years ago, and I think it's unlikely that.
And can he get going on those slow pitches where you can't hit through the line?
True.
And a safer option would be, I think, Sanju Samson or KL Rahul. And between the two, I think Sanju Samson should get the nod.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was also among the reserves in the last World Cup, but this time let's pick him in the 15.
And you're going to need one reserve spinner, which means that you're going to leave out the crown prince of Indian batting.
Shubman Gill.
Shubman, you don't have Shubman in your
So
15.
this is the surprise, because the selectors are likely to pick Gill in the squad.
The selectors will definitely pick Gill.
Yeah,
but you are sort of
in our team, there's no place for Gill right now. So I'd rather have Bishnoi, one among Bishnoi or Yuzvendra Chahal, who has shown he's still the king of the IPL.
Just coming back to the Gill factor, so assuming one of the two openers is unavailable, you'll then move Virat up?
Virat up.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Does that work?
Sense. Yeah, I mean, you're a brave man, Partha. I mean, you're braver than Ajit Agarkar is going to be, but okay, it makes sense. Right.
Okay, so we have all our names penciled in.
Okay.
But you have to pick one among Bishnoi or Chahal.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Chahal. Bishnoi is the better fielder and the better batter, but I think, in a T20 team, at least one guy should be picked just for bowling.
Okay, makes sense.
That's Chahal.
And also, he's your best spinner in the IPL.
He's the best spinner in the IPL, and not just in this IPL, but across all IPLs. The best Indian spinner.
He's a thinking bowler. He could be effective on the pitches there.
Yes, yes.
Although the US is an unknown factor, the West Indies pitches are more or less, we know what they are like. So don't expect all scores. Don't expect range hitting like you saw in the IPL. And there are no impact players. So you need multifaceted players. You need players who can field well.
Yeah. So unlike this IPL tournament where every match begins with fans saying "Kya iski baar, kya ab ki baar 300 par," it's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
200 par will be a good score in the West.
I think David Warner has talked about this. David Warner has said, don't expect people who are batting well in the IPL to sort of come out and hit and become stars in the World T20. Yeah. There you will have different sort of players, which again brings us back to the Gill factor. Because you need those players who can maybe bat through the innings and maybe at 120, 130 and just while wickets fall at the... No, definitely.
All right.
I'd rather go with multifaceted players. We have Dube, we have Akshar Patel, who's also a very good fielder.
Yes.
We have Hardik Pandya, who will hopefully sort all his troubles out and play better for India without the fans booing him.
Once he's away from Indian shores and the franchise fever has settled down a bit. Hopefully the fans will forgive him. So yeah.
And you have some players who you can't replace. Rohit, Kohli, Bumrah, 3.
Right. So yeah, there you have it. That's our team, and hopefully in a couple of days the Indian team will be out as well, the one picked by the national selectors, and we look forward to comparing notes and seeing where we got it right and how we differed.
And in the meantime, you can pick your own team.
Thank you.
Thank you.